Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about Masters of the Universe at retail and how long will it stay at retail. Will 2022 be the last year we see Masters of the Universe at retail? We're going to discuss the Origins and Origins line. This is a great toy line. This Origins line is really exciting and got me excited about this, and I'm only a casual Motu collector. Also going to be looking at kind of the future of the Master Verse in the revelations and talking about the media, talking about all of this stuff that's going on with it, but most importantly, the signs and indicators that this might be coming to an end. This might not have a long run like we were hoping. We'll talk about all this coming up. So when Masters of the Universe came back out with the Origins, it's basically the vintage toys with modern articulation and still a vintage type sculpt. This was supported heavily by Mattel, and it was a Walmart exclusive only, and you could find them anywhere in any Walmart. There were just tons of them in my area. I can't speak for everywhere, but in the US, in my area, central US, Midwest, there's a lot of figures on the shelves. You could get any figure you wanted pretty much any time, or wait a few days and they got more in. It was a very healthy delivery. For $15, it was an excellent price point, and this was a great launch to this line. With a healthy delivery in the very beginning, you could only get it at Walmart, and it opened up after a few months pretty much everywhere. But Walmart and Target were the main places I was finding them. And then we would see Wave 2. Wave 2 of Origins started showing up at Walmarts, and I never saw them at Target, so just Walmart. And they were still really hard to get. So after Wave 1 and He-Man and Skeletor, and then the Wave 1 and all of that, starting with Wave 2, they were really hard to find. Now, I did find all mine at retail, luckily, but I didn't find enough to hook up all my friends. And then we got Wave 3. Now, Wave 3 was a Target-only deal, and so it seemed like you could only get it at Target, or, of course, online at BBTS, and online at these other places, for a markup. They weren't still just $50 each, or you could buy the whole wave and get it $15 each or the $60. There's always some sort of a markup when you have to go and buy it on BBTS or Entertainment Earth or all those places. And I think as it stands right now, this Wave 3 is the hardest full-on retail release to get. And it's tough, and I don't see them going back and reissuing these figures, sadly. Now, I saw Wave 4 showing up at Target, so I think this was a Target deal, and that's where I picked up these. And it was still pretty exciting to pick these figures up and to find them and to have them. It was exciting to see them at retail, but very few and very far between, and now we'll probably never again these specific characters. Then I started seeing Wave 5, and so here they are, Wave 5 Origins, and it's exciting. It seemed like a lot was coming really fast, and it was fast as it would show up, it would disappear. Same thing as on BBTS and all those places. And then I started to have to resort to BBTS to start getting them after Wave 5. So I've recently got my Wave 6 from BBTS, and the thing about it is that I never saw any of these anywhere at retail, and I really didn't see people flaunting it online that they found it at retail. Now, maybe in some other countries, but here in the US, this was an issue. So distribution is one of these problems that could possibly end this toy line. But the distribution problems are also coinciding with less even being produced if these are all going to start selling out online also. But I actually kind of have a theory what happened with Wave 6, but with Wave 7 showed up at Target. So as you kind of see, every other wave, one hits Walmart, one hits Target, one hits Walmart, one hits Target. This showed up at Target, quickly showed up, quickly went away, and now I don't see anybody reporting finding these at Targets anywhere. So again, another wave. This is going to be hard to find. You're going to have to get it through BBTS at now an almost $20 figure rate. What I'm thinking is that Wave 6 was slated for Walmarts, and Walmart stopped carrying these. You know, one of the things I'm hearing out there, Spectre Creative and a few others have been saying that Walmart has stopped carrying these. They're not getting any new stock in, and I see that to a point. I haven't seen any new Origins whatsoever for several months in my area. Now that we're up to date here, not talking about all the deluxes. I mean, the deluxes are one thing. They're even selling out on BBTS and pre-orders, all the deluxe figures for Origins. But where's Wave 8? Where's the standard Wave 8? And I'm looking at standard Wave 8 here, and I'm starting to see yet another issue. What we are seeing that they are announcing that's coming is mostly repaints. We get one new figure and a whole bunch of repaints. And this is starting to be an alarming, concerning situation, considering the fact that this is mimicking how they did Masters of the Universe back in the 80s. And back then, they would make a whole new character with similar body parts and molds and just change the colors, change the head, you have a new character. Well, here we are. These are the same characters, just getting repainted. We have an Anti-Eternia He-Man. We got Clawful. That's awful that I forgot Clawful for a second there. And then, of course, we get Trapjaw here with different colors. So this is starting to be alarming that they're doing so many repaints of the exact same character instead of putting new characters out in the style and the design that they did back in the 80s, the way they did it with more and more real characters we saw back then. This is a problem. What else are we seeing? This Wave 7 that just hit has 2 repainted figures in it, but also 2 new good figures, the Jitsu and... I forgot the bug's name. Anyway, with this, and again, I'm a casual Motu collector, but I'm in 100% on these, even if I don't remember the character, didn't have the characters back in the day. It's fun to re-experience all this, and that's what I'm doing right now with collecting this, and I think a lot of people are too. But the Sorceress, this was a planned deal here, because she already came with a Castle Grayskull, and now we get the one that actually looks correct in the main line, and a clear white painted one for Castle Grayskull. Now, looking down here, we have Stratos. So Stratos is comic version form, and I do think it looks pretty cool. It looks interesting. It's different than normal Stratos, but again, 2 repaints in one wave. And they planned this, but why? Lack of confidence on Mattel's behalf? The next point that's really alarming for Origins and Masterverse, and we're going to talk about Masterverse more specifically later on, but the next alarming part here is the fact that we see massive steep discounts. And this Sky Sled was a $30 item, which I think it was priced fairly because it included a $15 figure, and then you've got the vehicle, so $15 there. $30 is an excellent value. But the problem is, a lot of people probably want multiple Sky Sleds, and nobody really wants multiple Atoms. So that was kind of a bad choice in that one. I mean, maybe should have had a Turning Guard in here or something like that. Maybe something different than Atom packed with it. And I'm pretty sure Atom would have sold by himself just fine. But anyway, long story short, the sales on everything. There are so many of these going on sale, getting clearanced out. That's kind of scary. So one of the problems that people complained about for all of 2020 2021 were that there's too many Skeletors and He-Mans hanging on the pegs. Now, the reason that we had a constant presence of Skeletor and He-Man hanging on the pegs with different waves, or you would say that maybe they're their own SKU, they're their own thing, they're not part of the other waves, they had their own name, their own slot, and then the assortment was a different slot, which was smart, because if people can't get a He-Man and a Skeletor, the line is not as much fun. If you're having to go pay somebody $70 on eBay to get a He-Man because it was in Wave 1 and Wave 1 sold out, then that's not going to work. So the plan was to keep these on there forever as long as the line was going on. Well, guess what? They've just clearanced them out at every Target, every Walmart. Some Walmarts clearance them down to $7. One of them, Purcell, Oklahoma, clearance them to $5. And I got to say that now these no longer have a presence at retail at Walmart, and some Targets still have them. They kind of put them on sale, they take them off sale, put them on sale, take them off sale. But for the most part, you're not going to be getting these anymore. That's a telltale sign that they're probably not going to be sporting this line much longer. So at first I was starting to think that, well, Walmart and Target, they are clearancing out these figures so that they could get the re-molded heads, the variant, the update, whatever you want to call these newer ones that are fixing the problems that we have with the first one. And the problem with the first one, people didn't like the head sculpts. And now these are more classic, more like the vintage head sculpts. And you can still get them on Amazon.com. And even Amazon had $10 and $7 sales on Skeletor. And they're saying they have the He-Man on sale because now all these figures have a whole new price structure. They're no longer $15, they're now $16.99, but Amazon lists it on sale for $14.25. Prices are going up on these. The value at $15, the value play is almost not there anymore for these guys. We're getting closer to $20 each on them, and Walmart is no longer stocking these. So since I guess this was PowerCon, where they had this display set up, and this is really the last time that I really saw any new news at all whatsoever about the Origins line. And the thing about this is no new news, no new information on this, and it's kind of odd that they're going to go so long. Well, I have to say, with this line, it seems like they go radio silent for a few months, then they come out with some sort of announcement, then they go radio silent again. But this seems a little frustrating because now we're going into 2022. We don't even know if the buyers of any retailers have gotten on board with any of the subsequent waves, or is this over? And lastly, the media has more or less ended. It's come and gone. We've gotten the 2 different cartoons that were going on, and it's pretty cool. Revelations, I felt, was kind of a fun romp. And I'm not really going to talk about the kitty show, the He-Man kitty show, and the kitty toys. I'm not really interested in that, and I don't think that's going to last very long. But that's just me. I don't know anything about that, so I don't have an opinion, so I really can't speak to it. But with Revelations, it was fun to watch all the old characters do something new with better animation, and it's interesting. Now, the side plots maybe weren't the greatest. There was some downtime, but overall, it was still fun and enjoyable to watch. Now, I'm, like I said, a casual Motu fan or a collector, so I wasn't super duper into lore, and I started watching some of the old cartoons from the 80s, which this inspired me to watch those, and I don't remember very many of those episodes. But I do have to say that it was kind of fun to see it all happen again. So with that, I think that the media does sort of spark this whole resurgence of Motu, but what really sparked it the most was seeing all of the Origins figures at retail. Now we're getting into having the Masterverse figures at retail, but Masterverse fell in one way. They're not Matty Collector Classics. So I thought Wave 1 was okay. I kept mine in the package that my son wanted to open a Skeletor and a He-Man. One of the things that I noticed with his were that it seemed like the heads were a bit small and they just didn't quite work out very well. And they are a little bit oddly designed, but I want to say that overall, they're much higher quality figures than I thought they'd be. So right out of the gate, I think they had a pretty decent offering. Again, they're not classics. I would prefer the classics look, so I've been going after the classics figures, but it seems like so much easier to just grab these for $20, $23, whatever they are now, versus tracking down classics figures that are pushing $150, $200. So, I mean, there's no fun in collecting classics, even though they are, in my opinion, a better representation of the cartoon. Of course, Wave 2, I have not seen at retail whatsoever. I have not seen any Wave 2 figures at retail. Some people have. They post it on the Facebooks and all this kind of stuff. And so I do see that. I see some people with their YouTube videos. I got this at Target or Walmart or whatever. But not in my area. None at all whatsoever. So I had to resort to BBTS for these. And of course I had to pay an inflated price. But I guess it's better than paying classics prices, I guess. So you got the Cancun Vacation Beastman. You got shaved side head Tila. Man-at-Arms that looks like it's almost on par with the classics. And then we've got Spikor. So then I find myself questioning whether or not these figures are actually going to continue showing up at the store, or I might just have to count on BBTS all the time. And then these pop in to Walmarts. And actually one case at each Walmart that I frequent showed up. And I was able to snag one wave. I didn't get the, I forgot the girl's name on the right, the roommate friend. But I have to admit that this is a solid wave. These figures all look great. And I really am excited if they can carry this on. But then I start to wonder, will they even carry it on? So since I don't have pictures of Wave 4, I'm just going to leave Wave 3 up here. But Wave 4 is supposed to get us the Viking He-Man figure, the Barbarian Skeletor, and Secret Figure 1 and 2. So they don't even have pictures on BBTS for these pre-orders. These pre-orders are sold out, and there's no pictures, and they don't know who 2 of the figures are, and they're sold out. Which tells me there's some, I don't want to say funny business, but I think that they're basically saying, well, however many you sell, cut it off, and we'll make that many, I guess. I don't really know what's going on with this situation. So then we have for the deluxe. So we have a deluxe wave, which I always thought deluxes showed up in pairs, and then of course they showed up in pairs. Then they start showing up with adding more from the past waves until you have a kind of full wave, which we're showing up at Target now with the Ram Man and all those. Anyway, so looking at this, you do get a few interesting figures. Triclops looks awesome. He looks great, and probably on par with the classics Triclops. And then you get, and let me read all of this stuff, you get what's called the Savage He-Man figure. Savage He-Man figure comes with a spear, axe, sword, and an Orko accessory. It was a figure, but an accessory and a stand. See, this is interesting because, they don't have faith in Orko on his own, or maybe they feel like Orko's not enough value, so you get him as an accessory with this Savage He-Man. So it's interesting how it's going, but I think part of this, they were trying to keep it secret until the show came out for what the role of Savage He-Man. You also get an unpictured Faker and an unpictured Trap Jaw figure. But of course, I think pictures of those have floated around, but they're just not here on BBTS. So again, we're starting to wonder what's the future of Masters of the Universe look like for Revelations and for Origins, and nobody really knows. Like, these figures aren't even concrete. We don't even have a concrete release dates. We don't have concrete confirmation of these figures, where they're coming from. What about the King Grayskull back there? So all of this stuff that's going on, you can kind of see a Trapjaw in here. You can see a bunch of these other characters and figures that should be on the way. They were all displayed, but still, none of this is even a guarantee we will get what's in this picture. But I want to touch on 2 more points before I end this, and I want to say that I do like some of the things that they're doing with this line. First of all, the vehicles, it seems like you can accommodate both lines with these vehicles, so you could probably use, for sure, this Wind Raider you can use for your Masterverse or for your Origins. I like that, but also the interconnectivity with the vehicle and the new Castle Grayskull. Castle Grayskull has done a lot of things and shattered a lot of myths about the toy community, saying that you can be successful putting out a playset. But then again, this is a very basic playset. It was designed to be basic back in the 80s. It's still basic today with a bit of an updated modern look and some updated modern parts to it. But at the end of the day, this is a $75 war. Target's charging $79 for a playset that works really well. It looks pretty good. It's nice. It's decent. And, well, where's Snake Mountain? I don't think we're going to get it, though. Sadly enough, not enough confidence to get a Snake Mountain. I'm curious what everyone else thinks. Do you think that we're going to see any of this past 2022? Is 2022 the last year we're going to see any of the Masters of the Universe at retail? Or is this going to go on forever? 2025, are we be getting more and more and more waves? Now, a lot of people do say that they're losing the rights in 2023, but then there's the question that Mattel, they have the first right of refusal, meaning that they still have the opportunity to secure that license. How many people are in on Origins and missed out on past waves and paying out the nose to catch up? How many people have missed out on pre-orders for future waves that we haven't seen yet and are hoping to find it at retail? And what do you guys think? Was this a fun ride while it lasted, or do we have a bright future? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and Tight Hanger out.